Hey there folks, back at you with another video. Today we're going to be working on this 91 Dodge W250. We're going to finish up the transmission swap. So we pulled the 47RH, we put in an NV5600, we kept the MP205 transfer case, and now the only thing we have to do is work on the starter, clutch pedals, and the drive shaft, and that's basically going to be it. So here we go. Let's get into this. Please like and subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. Don't cost nothing. Let's get past the intro and let's get into this. So I was gonna see if we could use the hold on. Let me grab this thing here. So this here is the clutch out of the 3rd gen. And give me 1 second here. I want to show you what we got going on. Well, and this is the clutch pedal out of a 1st gen, and the bracket itself is completely different. As you can tell, this one is kicking all the way over, then coming down with a rod right there, and this one is the exact opposite. It comes basically straight down and it kicks over for the push rod right there for the clutch. This got ordered off of eBay. This here is a 1st gen clutch pedal. That's what we're going to use. Came with the master brake cylinder or master clutch cylinder bracket, and already modified that because this one is completely different as what you would have on the 3rd gen. But you would say, well, just put a 1st gen on this and then do the rest 3rd gen. Yeah, I could do that. If it was my truck and I would drive it, I'll probably go that route. But this is a customer's truck, and you got to keep in mind that if this guy ever breaks down the road and he needs to replace this, he needs to be able to walk into a store and say, I need a 3rd gen master slave cylinder clutch pedal assembly, and then they can just give it and he can just put it in there and be back on the road. So that's why I did this. I welded studs on there, and that would fit like this. So that would sit up against that bracket. Let's imagine that's the bracket in the truck that will get bolted on like that. And then this will go, give me 1 second here, let me see if I can do it this way. There you go. Try and do this with one hand, guys. So anyway, so this will sit like that. This sits pretty straight. There's the bottle. This one is pre-bled, so no fighting any of this. And then here's the rod. I hope that angle is going to work. I think it will. If anything else, I can stack, because if you look at this thing here, this here is straight, and then this here is cocked over this way, if you exaggerate, as you can tell. So if need be, we can always set it straighter on this bracket with some washers or whatnot on the other side. So if need be, we can always put in a spacer to make it all work, because now we can go that route, and then that will line everything up nice and straight, because the original 1st gen is all straight. The 3rd gen here, like I said, this one is cocked over. So, but like I said, I wanted to have it so he could change it out himself with original parts without having to do anything special. Like I said, and if we absolutely have to have that different, then I can put some washers in here or create a spacer or whatever, and then we'll make that work. So, but yeah, so getting ready to install that in this pedal. So we're going to start taking that apart, and we'll bring it right back here in just a minute. Here we go. Alright, so now we're getting into the truck here. So there's a big rubber grommet right up in there in the firewall, and then there's bolt holes right there on the side, as you can tell. So that's where we need to mount that bracket. So that's the first thing we're going to do. As you can tell, there's the rod right there where the clutch pedal is going to sit on, and then it will go around the steering shaft here. So we're going to get that rubber grommet out, and of course we'll show you on the other side here. There's the rubber grommet right there, and well, kids these days need to have a nice big boom box, so we need to pull this wire out and pull this grommet out, and then we'll see what we have to do there. So here we go, we'll bring it right back. Alright, so I get the master cylinder, clutch cylinder in, routed hose to the transmission. We got her all bolted up. Don't mind the wire mess. I hope someday he's going to clean this up, but I already did some of it for him. Wires that are unused and whatnot, so I just put them in a knot, lay them off to the side. But anyway, squirrel. So we got that all bolted down, got the reservoir in place. It's going to clear the hood, not by much, but enough. I think I got like you know, 1/4 of an inch, 3/8, ½ inch, maybe somewhere in there. So we got the bracket in place right there on the top. I don't know if I can get you up in there or not. Right here. I don't know how good this shows. The bolts are a little bit smaller than what they need to be, but I want to have it tight up against the firewall. So let's see if you. So right there at the end of my fingertip, that's where the bracket sits. So now we're going to see if we can pull this rod out. There's a rod that goes all the way across that holds the pedals in place. There's a bushing right there. It's just so cramped in here, guys. It's just hard showing. So there is the rod. There should be like a clip on the end of it, and then you can push the rod out. So that'll be next, because the clutch, you see this bracket here and that bracket right there, that's where the clutch pedal is supposed to sit. So, and then the only other thing we gotta do is shorten this brake pedal up. So we'll go whack-a-mole on that, but we'll do that as last. So I want to make sure that that's going to match up size-wise with the others. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's what I got going on right now. So I'm going to pull that rod out, and like I said, there is just not a lot of room there for activities. So that's going to be tight squeeze, but everything else is in place, ready to go. So I'm ready for the clutch pedal. Here we go. We'll be right back. Alright, so before I was going to drop the clutch pedal in, I had to modify our new clutch pedal. So, because here's your problem. This one that I cut off, the rod don't fit on that. And then so I took the other one, cut that off, and then welded that back on here, cleaned it up a little bit on this side. Couldn't get in there with a grinder, so anyway, but now trying to do this one-handed, the rod will fit on there, see. So got that done, got a clip ready to go. So now we're going to go put this thing in, and well, wish me luck. Here we go. All right, we got the clutch pedal in, and she came out pretty nice, if you ask me. It's just tight up in there, but got it all in place now. So I don't know if you can tell, I use some extra grease and all that. So yeah, but now so this is the clutch safety switch. So you need to push, so that way you need to push the clutch in before you start. This came off, this came with the transmission, and that was on the old master cylinder for the clutch. So I took that off. I'm going to put that on this one right here. I just put 2 wires on it, so that way I don't have to keep reaching under there. One needs to be connected to the wire that is at the neutral safety switch and your reverse light at the old transmission. So I need to figure out which wire that is, bring that up, and then hook that to this one and put this one to ground. One of these wires, it don't matter which one, to make a ground connection, because then it will open up the relay to let the starter start. So I'm going to get that in place, and yeah, like I said, this was just a reuse, so we're going to shove this on in there, and you know, pretty simple actually. So it just goes around that shaft. So yeah, all right, going to get that done and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, so let's see if we can get you all the way up in there and give you a nice shot of how it all looks like. So there you go. You see this metal rod. So right there we got the bracket. So you got the metal rod. Then we got that clutch safety switch put in for the starter. Right next to it is the bracket. So you see the white wires now. So there it is, hooked up to the pedal. So you see that? Can you see all that? Like I said, I just want to give you a good shot so you got an idea. Like I said, that metal rod one more time right there, and then all the way to the end. Right there you got another shot. And then you got the 2 white wires right here that we're going to use. So give me 1 second, we'll bring it right back. So that'll give you a pretty good idea. I need to put these connectors back together, but because I disconnected the blue connector right here to create some more room. But so one of these need to go to ground, the other one need to go to that neutral safety switch, and we'll show that. But this way the wiring is up there ready to go, so I don't have to keep reaching up in there, because like I said, there is just not a lot of room. The big shaft for the clutch pedal, that's held in on this end right here with a 3/8 bolt. So you take that bolt out and then you can push it out. Make sure you lube it up with a little bit with some penetrating oil. So we got that all done. So clutch pedal is in, and like I said, she feels really good. So, but we don't know until we start, right? So, and then we know what's what. But so far so good. But anyway, here we go. On to the next thing. All right, so we basically got the clutch all finished up now. That's good to go. Next thing will be the starter, so we can start this truck with the pedal safety switch hooked up. So as of right now, because it used to have an automatic, if you want to start this thing, nothing. So what we need to do is this. I'll grab a light here real quick. We'll show you. Alrighty, so see if I find a spot to hang the light real quick. So right here is that 3-prong plug, and then we got to hook up to the middle one here, the middle wire, the middle plug or prong, and then I show you here with a test lead. So plugged in right there. We're going to give it a ground. There will be a good ground right there. So now we get noise, so now it will start, right? So that shows you that's the wire we need to hook up to these right here to complete the ground. So we're going to have one wire here hook up to the ground, and one wire hooked up to that wire. I'm going to have to trace that back and get that all hooked up, so that way you got to push in the clutch in order to start the truck. So instead of having a neutral safety switch that is on the automatic transmission, we're basically using that safety clutch pedal switch to do that. So so now we're gonna have to trace that wire back, find it, and get it hooked up. So here we go. All right, so from that switch or from that plug, the plug there that went on the automatic transmission with the 3 prongs, you know, look here, and on this transmission, it goes on the, let me see here, it goes right there. So it's the middle one, which is brown with yellow on this truck. So I went about 6 inches back from that neutral safety switch plug-in, cut that wire, and then so that way if you ever want to put it back on, you can still reuse that original plug. So cut that about 6 inches back from the plug, pulled it all out, and then ran it through. Here, I'll show you. And I ran it through the firewall right here, and then got it all fished through. So here she is. Like I said, brown with yellow for this truck anyway. So yeah, so now we need to hook this up. We're going to get that done real quick, and we'll show you how it works, and then we're going to finish that up. So here we go. Give me 1 second, we'll be right back. Alright, so strip the wires back. This is just for testing purposes real quick. So one of the white ones that came off that switch, hooked that up to this wire, and then I found me a ground right there, you know, some metal. I used my clamp to hold it in place, so make sure we have good contact. And now we're going to test it. Nothing. Push the clutch in. There you go. We're going to have noise now. So now I know for a fact that it works good. Now we're going to plumb this in. I don't want to cut that wire off anymore right here, because that way if I ever want to run, if you ever need to run that wire back to that plug, you can, and you can reuse the original wire. So I'm just going to put a butt connector in here, and then we're going to give the other end, put there, this end right here, we're going to give that an eyelet, and we'll screw that down for a good ground contact. So anyway, so now you got a pretty good idea of how to do that. So gonna get that done. We'll bring it back. Here we go. All right, well, we got the drive shaft in. I didn't have to do a lot of modification to the drive shaft. We are right now, we are exactly a 1/2 inch shorter. So I went from originally to be 54 1/4 to 53 3/4. talked to the customer in order to save him a little bit of money. I took that rubber boot off right there, and that gives us like a 1/2 inch of clearance right here. So I know it's not perfect, but you know, like I said, this is a little bit of a budget build. So like I said, this can save him a little bit of money. So let's say here in about a couple weeks or a month, he's got some extra cash. He can have this fixed, and his 4-wheel drive shaft fixed as well, because that needs to get longer, but probably not a whole lot. I may see if I can get that installed yet or not, but yeah. So that basically fits, like I said, a 1/2 inch. So there's a rubber boot that goes around here like a dust boot, and I took that off, and that gives us enough clearance for the time being. Is it perfect? No. Would I recommend shortening the drive shaft? Absolutely. Because like I said, another 1/2 inch. Well, if I would shorten the drive shaft, I would probably go take an inch off, because the shaft is all the way up in here. So if you take an inch off the shaft, that gives you enough flex either which way. So with the rubber boot on it. So anyway, so got that installed. Now I'm going to button up a couple things, and we're really basically at a point where we're almost done. The only thing I want to do now is put some screws in, get this shifter boot in place, get that all nice and tidied up. Same thing with this here, get that all done, and then yeah, she's going to be done for. So, and then we're going to drive her out of the shop. So stick around. We're going to button up a couple small things here and there, and then we'll bring you back when we're going to roll this thing out of the shop. So here we go. Alright, I got the jump box ready to go, and we're going to get this truck fired up, and I'm going to roll her out of the shop, so show you guys that she works. Oh, still got to take care of the air hose there. Give me 1 second. folks. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Don't cost nothing. We're going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.